really strong. I'm about 158 right now. Yeah, I'm working with Blue. We doing before my fight with Danny Garcia, Mikey Garcia, Sean Porter. Basically, all them fights. Let me see, Sean Porter. Yeah, it's probably like Lamar Peterson. Like I wasn't working with Blue. I wasn't doing sit ups. I was barely doing push ups. I did strength conditioning mostly like when the camera crew comes, I want to see different stuff. So I do some strength conditioning stuff, or I do it like 3 or like 4 weeks before the fight because when I start dropping weight, my legs start getting weak and things like that. So I did a lot of strength conditioning like 4 weeks before my fight, but I wasn't doing sit ups at all. I wasn't doing lower back workouts. I was doing push ups to a minimal, and you can see that when I weighed in at the Mikey Garcia fight, or when I weighed in at the Sean Porter fight, like my physique and everything was different. Even with Mike Garcia, the morning of the weigh-in, I sat in the sauna for like 2 hours with a with a sauna suit on, with a sauna top on, with a bottom on. Just sat there for like 2.5, 3 hours trying to shadow boxing, trying to drop. I think, what was it, like 3 pounds? Yeah, trying to drop like 3 pounds. So yeah, now after Danny Garcia fight, I stayed in the gym. I didn't get up to, I usually get up to like 180, 185, 175. I stayed around 165, 164. But just, stayed running, stayed in the gym. And, I started working out with Blue probably like a month ago. So, on top of everything, trying to prepare my body to get into training camp mode and just, and and do the best I can to get in the best shape I can, to be as strong as I can. So, we can. I didn't surprise myself because I was doing good and sparring and things like that. But it did take a while for just my reflexes to come back and things to really start clicking. Because the first time I sparred, it was just, man, it just seemed like it seemed so awkward and it just seemed so forced. I even told my coach. My coach was like, "You did good," but in my head, I was like, "Nah, I didn't do good. I didn't feel it. It just felt like I was off." But after like third or fourth sparring, things started clicking, and and I just felt like I had what it takes to beat, Danny Garcia. I feel like, he's a very good fighter, but I feel like, he stays at the same pace. He has the same momentum. He doesn't shift gears. He doesn't, press you or, throw a lot of punches. He just stay at the same emotion, at the same gear. So, I felt like, I could press the tempo, pick up the pace when I want to, slow down on the pace, and, he would be fine with it. That's basically, what I did, and just, cruise to a victory. Just my strength, durability, and just, power, and and everything's in the core too, man. When you throw punches, when you block punches, your lower back and your core is the most important thing, besides your legs. And when me and Blue, we hit our core hard and my lower body hard, and he just gets me into, I'm always in tip top shape, but it gets me into that physical shape where I'm strong. As you can see, with the Chris Algieri and Lamar Peterson fight, the Kell Brook fight, as the rounds keep going, I get stronger and stronger instead of dropping. So, I just feel like, he takes me to, and a lot of stuff that we do, I don't do on my own. Like sometimes I think I can work out on my own, but I'm working out at my own pace. He's pushing me and I'm working out. He work out at a different pace because that dude can do like 1,000 push-ups in 30 minutes and, 700 pull-ups, crazy stuff. So, when he pushed me to that pace, it's not giving me time to rest, not giving me time to chill. It's just, straight through it every time, and I'm just forcing myself to work harder. So I feel like he pushes me to the next level.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So as you heard, former unified 3-belt WBA, WBC, IBF welterweight world champion superstar boxer Errol the True Spence Jr., who is now 28 wins, 1 loss, no draw, 22 big wins by way of knockout. He is 33 years of age, 5'9.5" with a 72-inch arm reach. Errol Spence, 2 Saturdays ago, went into the biggest fight of his career as he faced off against undefeated, now 3 division world champion, former junior welterweight undisputed world champion, currently the undisputed welterweight world champion superstar boxer, who is widely considered by many to be the #1 best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, in Terrence Bud Crawford. Terrence Crawford is now 40 wins, no losses, no draw, 31 big wins by way of knockout. He is 35 years of age, 5'8" with a 74-inch arm reach. Errol Spence is 33 years of age, 5'9.5" with a 72-inch arm reach. With that said, Errol Spence made some grave changes going into the biggest fight of his career, as Errol Spence has been on record now, as you heard, admitting that going into the biggest fight of his career with legendary 8-division world champion, iconic Filipino superstar boxer Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao, and his world title opportunity for his first title opportunity back in May of 2017, he made sure he worked with strength and condition coach Bluray Fitness. That had you see the version of Errol Spence that he stated was a force to be reckoned with. But Errol Spence, he stated that he likes to work at his own pace. And so he said, you didn't see the version of Errol Spence that you saw against Kell Brook, Lamont Peterson, Chris Algieri, and those fights when he decided to step in the ring with guys like Sean Porter in a unification bout, Danny Garcia, and Yordenis Ugas. But he did bring back Bluray Fitness. He parted ways with Bluray Fitness and decided to do things on his own. But then when he had the big fight with Manny Pacquiao on the table, he decided that going back with Bluray Fitness was the best opportunity for him to win the fight and be the guy he once was. So he said he brought back Bluray Fitness in July of 2021 to help prepare for the Manny Pacquiao fight. But then he suffered a broken or detached retina, and at the time, Errol Spence stated he felt in the best shape of his life, the strongest he's ever been, before he went into that fight with Danny Garcia. And he stated that going into the fight with Danny Garcia, he didn't feel like he needed Bluray Fitness, that extra strength, right? That dominating force. He didn't need that, he said, because Danny Garcia fought at one pace. And so he also stated that he got Bluray for the Manny Pacquiao fight. But once he suffered that broken or detached retina and the Pacquiao fight was off the table, and then he ended up having to go into a fight with Yordenis Ugas, who stepped in for Errol Spence. Yordenis Ugas stepped in for Errol Spence and dominated Manny Pacquiao, okay? And so with that said, he was fighting Yordenis Ugas, who he felt was limited. So he didn't need the likes of Bluray Fitness for Manny Pacquiao, or, for Danny Garcia or Yordenis Ugas. But then he got comfortable, and he went to the biggest fight of his career against this man, Terrence Bud Crawford. And once again, he decided to go in a different direction instead of bringing back what he knows is proven and what he knows works, which is Bluray Fitness. And he stated that when he cuts weight and he don't have Bluray Fitness with him, his legs feel weak. He don't feel that strong, especially 4 days out. And he stops doing core work. He stops doing sit-ups. He stops doing lower back exercises. And that's where his strength comes in. So he brought in a new strength and condition team, a new nutrition team that was unproven, okay? Because as we stated, going into the Yordenis Ugas fight, he knew that he didn't need Bluray Fitness. Now, he brought in the strength and condition team for the Yordenis Ugas fight, and he was, able to break down Yordenis Ugas, and he looked strong, but not as strong as people claimed that he looked when he fought Kell Brook, Lamont Peterson, Chris Algieri. So he didn't bring in what was proven for the biggest fight of his career, which was Terrence Bud Crawford. And that's why Errol Spence didn't look like the destructive force you're accustomed to seeing. It had nothing to do with the car accident or being weight drained. It was simply that he was experimenting, essentially. Because in this fight right here with Yordenis Ugas, he knew Yordenis Ugas didn't have the punching power to truly hurt him. He knew, like he stated, Danny Garcia was limited in what he can absolutely do, right? But he knew he can withstand and overcome and overwhelm Yordenis Ugas. But then he went into the biggest fight of his career against Terrence Crawford, and he did not bring back Bluray Fitness. Now, one thing we have to note is that he stated he knew that he felt the strongest he ever felt after the Danny Garcia fight, which means that's after he suffered that horrific car accident when he was with Bluray Fitness ahead of the Manny Pacquiao fight. But then he parted ways with Bluray Fitness again and experimented with a new strength and condition team. He knew Yordenis Ugas was limited, and instead of going back to what was proven with Bluray Fitness for Terrence Crawford, he decided to stay with the experiment. And that ultimately could have been the biggest factor that cost Errol Spence the biggest fight of his career. No knock against his new strength and condition team, but Errol Spence should have stayed with what was definitely proven, and he made a change, and that possibly could have been the reason why he lost and wasn't as strong as Terrence Crawford. So let's see what happens in the rematch in December. That's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button, drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Follow me on Instagram, Blue Blood Sports TV, all in one word. I'm going. Peace.
This is Amanda, the real deal Serrano, and you're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.